Have you ever just stopped to think about the incredible web of inventions that makes your day even possible? I mean, from the light you switch on in the morning to the very screen you're looking at right now, our world is just built on these layers and layers of genius. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on some of the most foundational inventions, the ones that quietly shape, well, everything.
Okay, so let's kick things off with a question that honestly seems kind of impossible at first. What in the world do a light bulb and a vaccine have in common, right? One conquers darkness, the other conquers disease. They feel like they're from completely different universes, but they share this incredibly powerful common origin.
And there it is. Simple as that. Every single great invention, at its core, is a solution. It's not just some clever gadget. It's an answer to a massive universal problem. It's a response to fear, to our own limitations, a problem that was faced by millions or even billions of us. All right, so let's start with the absolute cornerstones. I mean, these are the big ones, the inventions so fundamental that, honestly, without them, the rest of this list, it just couldn't exist.
And what's so fascinating here is how each one of these unlocked a totally different kind of revolution. Think about it. Gutenberg's printing press. It didn't just print books, it made them cheap enough for everyone. It took knowledge from being this rare thing for the super rich and just handed it to the masses. Then you've got James Watt's steam engine. It didn't just power a few machines, it literally powered the entire industrial revolution. And Charles Babbage's idea for a computer, well, that was the blueprint for the digital world we're all swimming in right now. So you've got knowledge, power, and information, the three pillars right there.
Okay, so once we had those foundations in place, the next huge problem for humanity was, well, distance. How do you make this giant, intimidating planet feel smaller? The answers came from this incredible series of breakthroughs in how we talk to each other and how we get around.
I mean, for the very first time in all of human history, your voice could literally leave your body. With Bell's telephone and Marconi's radio, a message could just zap across an ocean in an instant. This wasn't just a small step up, it was basically magic. And it changed everything. Business, war, how we connect with family, everything.
And while voices were zipping through the airwaves, other inventors were figuring out how to get our actual bodies into the air and across land faster than anyone thought possible. The Wright brothers' aeroplane and Carl Benz's automobile, they didn't just make the world feel smaller, they completely rewired our mental map of the planet. All of a sudden, seeing family in another country went from this multi-week nightmare to just a few hours.
And of course, that brings us to the ultimate connection machine, Tim Berners-Lee's World Wide Web. It basically took all those previous ideas, spreading information like the printing press, instant communication like the telephone, making distance meaningless, and it smashed them all together into one single global network. It didn't just connect our voices or our bodies anymore, it connected our minds.
But, what good is a connected world if we're not even healthy enough to enjoy it? So this next group of inventions, they tackled the most personal problem any of us will ever face, our own mortality. This is really the story of how science started to win the war against disease. And this just gave us an incredible new toolkit to fight back against suffering. Suddenly, we could prevent diseases from ever starting with Jenner's vaccines. We could kill bacteria directly with Fleming's penicillin. We could get rid of the horror of pain during surgery with Morton's anesthesia. We could actually see inside the body thanks to Röntgen's X-rays and make blood transfusions safe with Landsteiner's blood groups. Now, just stop and think about the combined impact of all of that. It is no exaggeration at all to say these inventions literally doubled the human lifespan. So, okay, our world is more connected, our lives are a lot longer. What's the next frontier? Well, it was making our immediate surroundings more, livable. This is all about gaining control over the day-to-day forces of nature that used to run our lives.
I mean, for thousands and thousands of years, things like being too hot or too cold weren't just minor annoyances. They were fundamental facts of life. Your entire day, your safety, even whether you had food, it was all dictated by the sun and the seasons. But what if it didn't have to be that way?
And bam, here come the solutions that changed absolutely everything. Willis Carrier's air conditioner, that gave us control over the heat. William Cullen's refrigerator, that gave us control over food spoilage, which completely revolutionized how we eat. And of course, Thomas Edison's electric light bulb, that gave us control over darkness itself, pretty much creating extra hours in every single day to live and to work.
But hey, genius doesn't always have to roar like a steam engine or light up an entire city. Sometimes it's just this quiet little spark of brilliance that solves a problem you didn't even realize was so annoying until, poof, it was gone. I mean, just look at these. The safety pen from Walter Hunt, the ballpoint pen from Laszlo Biro, the simple matchstick from John Walker. They're so simple, so elegant, and we use them billions of times a day without a second thought. They're the perfect proof that sometimes a world-changing invention can fit right in the palm of your hand.
Okay, this brings us to our final theme. What's the one invisible force that's powering almost every single invention we've talked about so far? Well, it's energy. More specifically, it's our ability to generate, control, and use electricity.
Now get this, one inventor on our list was so important to the electric age that he's credited with not just one, but two of its most critical parts. Any idea who that might be?
It was Michael Faraday. And what's so brilliant is how his two inventions work together like a perfect team. The electric motor that turns electricity into motion, that's what makes stuff go. The transformer that lets us change the voltage so we can send electricity efficiently over huge distances. So you see, one makes power useful, and the other makes that power available to everyone.
And of course, Faraday wasn't working in a vacuum. A whole team of other pioneers helped us figure this all out. Alessandro Volta gave us the battery so we could store power. Nikola Tesla gave us the modern generator to create massive amounts of it. Charles Fritz gave us the very first solar cell to grab it right from the sun. And Nick Holoniak Jr. gave us the LED, which is just this super efficient way to turn that power back into light.
So when you step back and look at the whole huge story of human ingenuity, it's this amazing journey, isn't it? It stretches all the way from the ancient compass, which was a tool to help us find our way physically, to the modern internet, which is a tool to help us find our way intellectually and socially.
And you know, I think this quote from Thomas Edison just perfectly sums the whole thing up. An invention sitting on a shelf is just a neat little object. It's only when we actually use it to solve problems, to connect people, to save lives, that it gets its real value.
So that leaves us with one last big question. And this one's for you to think about. When you look at everything we've talked about, from the printing press to penicillin, from the steam engine to the internet, which one do you think had the single biggest impact? What was that one invention that more than any other really made our modern world possible?